Today, you're going to be working on the Minnesota benchmarks of I can compare and contrast artwork made in different places and times, and I can use art vocabulary to talk about how art looks different throughout the world and history. And you are going to be taking a look at some paintings. And as you do that, think about where in the world these traditional paintings might have been created, and also what's similar about them. Well, here are those paintings again that we were just looking at, and in these two boxes right here are two paintings by the artist Winslow Homer. He was an artist that was born and raised here in the United States, and when you look at them, they're painted in a very different style than these other paintings over here. Um, can you think about ways that they're different and ways that these paintings by Winslow Homer, made here in the United States, are different from these very beautiful paintings over here? What are some things that are similar and different? I'll let you think about that. Yes, well, you might have noticed that these are all paintings of the outdoors and nature. So they have that in common. But there are some differences as well. If we look at these paintings here from the United States or even the West, we notice that paintings here, or just of the West, are typically completely covered. All spaces have been filled in and painted, sorry. Whereas if we look at these paintings, they're actually from Asia. They're paintings, or Asian paintings, Asian watercolor, paintings of China and Japan. We see a lot of open, empty space in every one of these. What would be called negative space. And that's a really important aesthetic when we look at Asian paintings, traditional Asian paintings, is that space for your eye to rest. So again, these are paintings of China and Japan, some very traditional Asian paintings. And those two countries are right over here. Here's China, and the country of Japan is a small country surrounded by water right here. We live in the United States of America, so far, far away, way over here in this country. So we're taking a look at some Asian paintings of the East, whereas we live in the West. Well, when you look at those, and here's another Asian watercolor painting on a squirrel, we see that space, okay? And the reason for that, when we look at traditional Asian paintings, are some different beliefs that people traditionally have. One would be a Buddhist belief, and that belief in kind of nothingness or rest and peace, and that empty space is thought to be very beautiful, and it's a place for the eye to rest. Whereas here in the West, it would be traditional to just paint every single space. In the East, it's good to have a space, a big empty space for the eye to just rest and have peace. Another thing that's affecting this is the Taoist belief in energy and spirit. And when we look at the things that are painted, such as these trees, the artists tried their very best to capture that object, like this tree, in as few brush strokes as possible. Or in the other paintings, when we are looking at flowers or cherry blossoms or fish, again, the artist would try and paint it in as few brush strokes as possible, and they believed by doing that and really thinking carefully about what would be painted, that they could actually capture the spirit of that object or the spirit of these pine trees. Um, and then we see the belief that that open white space is just as important as what the artist has chosen to paint. And there's that belief that the negative space, this open white space, also just balances the image. So some very different aesthetics in painting, but very beautiful, restful paintings.